We're on page 151. Rabbi Soloveitchik on Teshuvah. He left us off yesterday with two types of vidui, from which he wanted to teach us a lesson on Teshuvah. Le'orze, the bottom page, first page. In light of this, אפשר לומר, I must say, כי יש במושג הווידוי שתי הלכות שונות. In the concept of confession of vidui, there are two separate halachot. מצד אחד, on one hand, אין בו פעולה עצמאית משלו. It doesn't have vidui, doesn't have its own independent action. ואינו מעשה מיוחד העומד ברשות עצמו, and it is not a special act that stands on its own. אלא מעין סיום וחתימה של מעשה אחר. Rather, vidui is the ending, it's the conclusion, it's the concretization, is that a word? Of another action. מעשה התשובה. Thank you. The act of Teshuvah. התשובה, כפי שכבר הסברנו כמה פעמים. The way we've already explained Teshuvah a few times, Rabbi Soloveitchik is talking about the many pages in his book that we didn't read. איננה מאורע פתאומי. It is not a sudden occurrence. Teshuvah doesn't happen suddenly. חד פעמי, one-time event. הינה מתחילה בערב יום הכיפורים עם חשיכה. Does not begin on the eve of Yom Kippur at dark. כמה רגעים לפני הווידוי, just a few moments before one must confess in Yom Kippurim. That's not when Teshuvah begins. אלא נובטת היא וגדלה בתהליך ממושך וארוך. It is part of a much longer journey, a much longer experience. רצוף ספקות ותהיות, it's full of all kinds of doubts, הרהורים, all kinds of musings וחשבונות and calculations. תחילה, the beginning, באים, 152, באים הרהורי התשובה. Begin the musings, the thoughts, the initial flirting with the idea of Teshuvah. I'm not even sure I want to go there, but I'm just thinking about it. Our rabbis tell us, Hirhurei Teshuvah ke Teshuvah dami. Just contemplating Teshuvah is considered as if you did Teshuvah. Obviously, you must do Teshuvah, but Hashem sometimes will consider a person's struggle with something to be a signifier that he really doesn't want to be doing what it is that he is doing. There was a man named Eliezer ben Yehuda. Eliezer ben Yehuda was they call him the father of modern Hebrew. You know who he is? Ben Yehuda.
Oh, Ben Yehuda, yeah.
There's a Ben Yehuda street in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
It's not a street, he's a of the dictionary. Very good. Eliezer ben Yehuda wrote the first modern Hebrew dictionary. Eliezer ben Yehuda was a yeshiva boy who ended up leaving the yeshiva world, but was so enthralled with the Hebrew language. He put his life, dedicated his life to giving new life to the Hebrew language. You had to figure out how to call an atomic bomb with the word. He came up with it. You had to know how to call a puppy in Hebrew. There's no word for puppy in Hebrew. You had to know how to say the word electricity in Hebrew. There was no word for electricity in Hebrew. He didn't just pull it out of his hat. He sat down.
Transliterated into Hebrew?
No, it's actually chashma was the word that was used.
Really?
It's kind of used in Ishayahu and kind of all kinds of the scary visions. You'll find this word. And Eliezer ben Yehuda, you'll find books sitting in thousands of volumes of Shulchan Aruch and the Talmud and the Rambam, and without a kippah. He was looking for the right words to use for the right things. And very often he would write to Rav Kook. There are many letters of him to Rav Kook saying, Rav Kook, I found this word, it's in a Tosfot in the Masechet Kritot, and I want to use it to mean plumbing, but is that the right word that I should use, or do you suggest I use a different word from the Rashba? And Rav Kook would write him back in all seriousness. He was a big Talmid Chacham who just, he was busy being a new Israeli, so to speak, that he didn't have time to be observant. And one time he came to Rav Kook's office, and Rav Kook said, "No, Eliezer." Well, Eliezer ben Yehuda came to his office and he saw something interesting. He saw on the Rav Kook's wall a picture of the Vilna Gaon and the first Lubavitcher Rebbe. And Eliezer ben Yehuda, who was a yeshiva student, he started laughing. I said, "What are you laughing about?" He said, "I see that you finally let them make peace on your wall. They're friends. It's very nice to see." And I said, "You should know, they didn't just make peace on my wall. They made peace in my heart as well." He said, in all of my writings, I pull from both of their sources. He said, and I find that they complement each other, not disagree with each other. And Eliezer Ben Yehuda probably thought it was very cute, poetic, Rav Kook saying something. And Rav Kook said, now let me talk about you. He says, Eliezer, if you know so much, when are you going to do Teshuvah? When are you going to start keeping Shabbat again? When are you going to realize that you're such a big Torah scholar? You might as well start observing Judaism. And Eliezer Ben Yehuda, he says, you know, Rav Kook, I've been thinking about it for a long time. I'm very open to it. I've been really thinking about that I should go back. Eliezer Ben Yehuda passed away the next day.
Wow.
And at his funeral, Rav Kook said that he considers Eliezer Ben Shuvah a ultimate Baal Teshuvah. He said, a rabbi said, Hirurei Teshuvah ki Teshuvah dami. Just pondering, contemplating to do Teshuvah is sometimes considered as if you did Teshuvah. And he asked Hashem, Rav Kook I said, I asked you to accept Eliezer Ben Yehuda as a man who did Teshuvah, not as a man who only contemplated doing Teshuvah.
So you can Baal Teshuvah be somebody who was observant and then left and come back?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Anybody, I mean, I don't know, like in the,
I mean,
I don't know what, like, in the modern definitions of Baal, I'm talking about the Torah definition of Baal Teshuvah. Anybody, I mean, even someone who's always Torah observant and slipped and then fixed himself is considered a Baal Teshuvah. Everyone's a Baal Teshuvah. Hopefully.
It seems like there's a state of Teshuvah in potentia in the person's mind and heart, and in, you could say, asiya, in action, when something is said, something is done, and that they're both integral parts of the same process.
And, this is what Rav Soloveitchik says. It starts off here. If you don't think about wanting to do Teshuvah, how are you ever going to start doing Teshuvah?
It becomes mechanical otherwise, if you don't
Correct.
freak. Yeah, just like anyone can go boom, boom, boom.
Oh,
yeah.
so let me say. Mihem, from these musings, somchot machshavot Teshuvah, then begin the actual thoughts of Teshuvah. The first ones were not serious thoughts. They were just contemplating. You know, they popped into your head every once in a while. This, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Kshelitim, that oftentimes kayam merchak rav ben hirhur namachshava. Sometimes there's a very large distance between contemplating Teshuvah and actually thinking about Teshuvah in a responsible fashion. Hamachshava hamegubeshet hi piryo v'sikumo. The actual formalized Teshuvah is the fruit and the conclusion shel hirhur ha'intuativi, the intuitive Teshuvah that was inside of a person. How fast? Ha'hirhurim tofsim et ha'adam amishkavo belelot. These thoughts grab a person when he's laying on his bed at night, says Rav Soloveitchik. Hemolim bo min vuchav asmuim, they come from inside of his most hidden places, of his nevuchim, of his perplexities. They come out. His teshuvah starts to creep on. If you can appreciate Rav Soloveitchik's language, he spoke very differently than other people speak.
How did he do that? He really pulled together some amazing vocabulary in Hebrew, right?
In Hebrew, he spoke this in Hebrew too, but Rav Soloveitchik spoke often in Yiddish or in English. I just heard some recordings of Rav Soloveitchik. It's not what I thought he would sound like. Yeah, Rav Soloveitchik was a very, not just Torah educated person, but a very educated person in general.
That's the whole point.
I think he carried about 2 PhDs, if I'm not mistaken, from great universities. He was a very, very refined academic person, and his language happens to be there are some parts of it in English you don't understand what he wants from you.
yeah.
He's referring to things using words that it looks like a textbook sometimes in Rav Soloveitchik's English. I sometimes wish that they would translate from English. Rav Soloveitchik from English to normal English.
To California.
Yeah.
Was one of his degrees psychology?
I don't know.
Because there's definitely psychology
know.
in there. Although the Rambam, of course, they didn't have degrees back then, but when we were learning Pirkei Avot, the introduction, his understandings of the working of the human mind were just
Correct, and I don't believe you have to go. You know, I was talking to somebody who was going through training to be a psychologist. Actually, I said, "What about your other classmates?" And after my classmates are divided into 2 people: those who want to help people, and those who are so crazy that they're here to help themselves. And this is like that. That's what's going on in the psychology world. So, from those people who want to help other people, how many of them are competent? And he told me about a handful of people who were actually competent. And I don't believe the world of academia always gives you what it is that you need. Sometimes there are people who they learn it from somewhere else. They learn it. I'm certain that in the walls of the Beit Midrash there are things that can be studied. Sometimes there's a person, I've seen some very talented businessman. Then he goes to business school. And it's almost like he replaced his talent with some textbook formulas and lost a little bit of his natural wittiness, his ability to close a deal, because he was trained to think differently than how he should be. A best teacher is the one who takes what you are and channels you in the right direction without changing who it is that you are.
in my field. It happens 90% or more of the people.
Of the time.
It's terrible.
יש בהם כאלה שהיה מבקש לדחוק. There are some thoughts sometimes that we wish we could just push them away, להעלים, to ignore them. להסתיר מעצמו, to hide them even from ourselves. וכל שכן מאחרים, how much more so from other people. There are some things about ourselves that we just wish other people would never know. We sometimes wish that we didn't know them about ourselves. Things that we've done, thoughts that we've had, places we've been, experiences we've put ourselves into that we probably shouldn't have been in. And it's not a matter of beating yourself up, but sometimes we're so far removed from that person, or the person that we try to... I spoke to a person, you don't have to believe it, it's okay. I spoke to a person who has Ruach HaKodesh. And I was able to have a very candid conversation. And I said, isn't that so cool? I was like, so cool. Wow, it's awesome. You know, you can... This person told me it's not so awesome. So you meet somebody, and you're struck with this... They're trying to show you who they want to be, and you're able to see who they really are, and you have to be able to give them that benefit of who they want to be, the person they're projecting to the world. That's who they really want to be. Sometimes if you dig into anybody's life, you'll discover all kinds of things about them that you couldn't. But that every person makes mistakes.
You don't want all that transparent.
Right, you don't want that transparent. But think about the fact that sometimes we do uncover things. You find a politician, you find a teacher, you dig into them, something you found you didn't want to know. But they've worked their entire life to keep that under wraps. So that's what they struggle with.
But that's not necessarily a good thing. Sometimes that mask is the most restricting, and you lose your freedom in that mask. I mean, this is something that the whole 60s generation was about, was like trying to unmask and be a real person.
So the truth is there are some things that when we unmask, we become much better people. And there are some people that when they unmask parts of themselves, they become worse.
Right,
and if there's a person who knows that what he's trying to mask is a part of himself that he struggles with, he doesn't want, I can appreciate that even though he may have been through things or done things, that I have to allow him to present himself to me the way he wants to be presented.
But do people really, we've discussed this before, do people always own their thoughts and feelings? Are they really their own, or are they borrowed from others, good or bad?
Sure.
And how much are they responsible for that? If they could be shown that, hey, is this really you?
Does it let everyone off the hook, though, for having those thoughts, if it comes from around me?
No.
I don't know, right? These are very deep things, and these are this is Teshuvah. We have a part of us that's trying to come out and was analyzed. So am I going to let it? Am I going to hold it back? Am I going to be who I want to be or who the world wants me to be? I believe in today's world, Teshuvah, what stops many people is not themselves, but the people around them. What are my parents going to say? What are my friends going to say? What is my spouse going to say? What are the people at work going to think about me? A lot of things that stop us from becoming better. And the worst are those people who, I remember you when you were still. You know those people? What are you? First off, it's asur, it's forbidden to such things. And you're not allowed to. It's a prohibition. But what is the purpose? What are you trying to accomplish by telling somebody, I remember you when?
Because you're threatened. You're threatened because the person has changed and you haven't.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
You're trying to bring them back down. Hey, remember we used to go to the bar and this and that.
By the way, your Yetzer Hara does it too also. You want to stop speaking Lashon Hara now? Do you remember what you said on Shabbat afternoon about so-and-so? Your Yetzer Hara does it. You want to start keeping kosher today? You know how many years you've been eating not kosher? Now you want to start keeping kosher?
Yeah.
What do you think, it's going to help? How many more years do you have left? The Yetzer Hara talks like this all the time. It's worse sometimes than the people outside. עד שמגיע מהרהור תשובה למחשבת תשובה, from when you reach the thoughts of teshuvah until the actual real thoughts of teshuvah, חייבים לעבור מהלכיו, you go a long distance. וגם אז, and even then, כאשר נולדת בסופה של דרך המחשבה הבהירה, הבנויה בצורה הגיונית, when you find in this logical, thought-out, contemplated teshuvah, once you reach that place of thinking through teshuvah, עדיין היא צריכה להיוולד מחדש. It has to be reborn once again. בתרגומה לשפת המעשה, and be translated into something that is action, into something that you need to do something again. You don't have to think about being better all the time. Officer, I thought I was going to put my seatbelt on. I really wanted to drive at the speed limit. It doesn't help. But why didn't you slow down? Oh, but I meant to drive safely. What do you mean? I meant to be sober. What is this? It doesn't work. There has to be from these good ideas to actually do something about it. There's a non-Jewish saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So let's not say the road to hell, but a lot of people their whole life mean well, but they don't actually do anything good. They always want to be the good person, they just never do it. That maybe you're halfway there on a spiritual level, but only Bochen Klayot Valev, only Hashem can see that you were thinking about doing good. To everyone else, you just come off as a real nuisance. I don't have any other way. I saw once a beautiful bumper sticker. Forgive the video, Cheva, who are watching me who don't know me. The bumper sticker said, Jesus loves you, and everyone else thinks you're an idiot. And this is it could be that up there you're some wonderful person, but down here you're doing a terrible job of being a good person. And unfortunately, Hirurei Teshuvah, it's only halfway there. B'derech, we're going to stop here for today. Rav Soloveitchik is going to tell us that in order to leave the step of thinking, you have to actually verbalize your Teshuvah. And Rav Soloveitchik says that vidui is not it's not that. What is that? That is just beating your chest. The vidui is saying, Hashem, what did I do wrong? I'm going to tell you what I did wrong in detail. Nobody wants, if you know that what I did was wrong, I don't want to visit it again. Now that I don't want to visit it again, in my head it's one thing. When I'm at night, on my pillow, under my blanket, I'm thinking about it. But to be in the Beit Knesset on Yom Kippur, nobody else can hear me. But to verbalize it so I can hear myself, so Hashem can hear me, that's a much harder thing to do. Shlomo Rav Peretz, I once saw him do vidui, and he said a very funny vidui. And I asked him, what nosach vidui was that? And he said, let me go through the list of the vidui. Gazalnu. I haven't stolen for everybody in their life. Gazalnu, it's not Gimel, it's in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
I said, I never stole from him, so why am I saying that? I'm taking it out. Shikam says, I never lie. I'm taking it out. But there are other things that I do that are not on this list. So I have to say them. So if we would take the vidui and say, I don't have to say the 40 words that are on this list. I don't do 30 of them. I do another 60 maybe that are worse than what's on this list. Now, in the Sephardic Machzorim, a lot of times they add in, after Tzi'arnu, we've caused pain, Tzi'arnu Avaim, we've caused pain to our parents. I don't think there's anybody in the world who, even if they meant well, never in their life caused suffering to their parents. You find in Ashkenazi Siddur also that on the long, there's the Al-Chetz that are done. It says there, Al-Chetz, we didn't respect Horim v'Morim, our parents and our teachers. Who can say that they went through school their whole life being nice to all the people who tried to make their lives better? We can't. Those are things we should say 100 times. The other things about, I ran in my legs in the street to do evil, I didn't go stab anybody in the last week, I didn't run with my legs. You have to know what is the vidui, and it helps a person if you sit down before Yom Kippurim and look at the vidui that Chazal give us. I'm not saying you have to take things out, but add things in. It's not going to hurt you. And to verbalize those things, that's the next step to actually doing Teshuvah. Rav Soloveitchik is going to talk more about that.
One problem, though, and that's if you're a Jewish parent, even if your kids are perfect and do well, you're still going to suffer.
They're never good enough. What the parents do to their children is a different story.
Yeah.
They have something based on Rav Kook. I once taught this to the ladies last year, was the positive vidui. And this was the vidui of all the things you do right. Rav Kook said that a person has to know that vidui has two sides to it. The things I do wrong, and also the things that I do right. I also do good things. And if you're always beating your chest on Yom Kippurim and never giving yourself a pat on the back, you're also hurting yourself. There must be a balance here. And I encourage people, and I'll talk about this more before Yom Kippurim, to do a positive vidui. Do a vidui for the things you do right also. Because on Monday we'll learn some more.
Thanks.